Hello, welcome to MedSurg1. I'm Rebecca Heath and going to be your instructor for this class. I'm not able to be there in person today to walk you through kind of what we're introducing you to the class. So I'm going to go ahead and do a short video and just go over a few things that I really want you to know going into next week when we're going to have lecture. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so I can show you guys what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to go, here is our MedSurg class. If we go out to the dashboard, just so you guys know what it looks like. We have right here, PNUR 223 MedSurg with a cute little stethoscope. And so our homepage is going to automatically take you to our weekly modules, and it's also going to have the two most recent announcements on here. So if you haven't seen the announcements, they're easy for you to find on here, and I recommend reading them. Usually I'll put some pretty pertinent information or things to help prepare you for the week coming up. Excuse me. And I'm going to go into student view so you guys can see a little bit more of what you normally would see in Canvas than what I see in Canvas. Okay. So normal layout of Canvas classes, you're going to have your to-do list over here on your right, your navigation on your left, and then we're on the home screen, announcements here, and then we have our start welcome, or our different modules. So the only thing that I want you to know is you have to go through your start welcome module before you're able to go into your week 1 module. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. So here's our welcome page. Here is me. And I want you guys to know this is a hybrid class, which is very similar to other classes you've been having. We're going to meet in person on Mondays from 9 to 11. That's when we're going to have lecture time, class time. But we're also going to have what I'm calling an open class from 8 to 9 beforehand. Now, this is not required. It's just strongly recommended. This is time for you to come to ask help about maybe some of the assignments, some of the content you maybe are a little unsure about. Amanda is also going to be there. So if you need help with dosage or some of questions from her support class, she's going to be available as well. So I really would recommend coming early to class and just getting some questions answered. I think it's going to be a really good time as far as help supporting you. I want you to know there's 2 holidays, which actually yesterday technically was a holiday, but during this term, we have 2 holidays with no in-person classes on Mondays. So that's January 16th and February 20th. On those weeks, I'm going to be teaching an hour after pharmacology on Tuesdays. So on those weeks, on the 17th and 21st, we're going to have a 1-hour class right after pharmacology from 11 to 12. It's not mandatory, just strongly recommended. If you can't make that time, I'll make the information available online. But I always think being in class is really helpful. It's how our program is designed to be in class, and we do a lot of activities and things that you just can't get the same type of learning at home as you would in the class. All right, so this class is structured with weekly modules, very similar to what we've had in our previous classes. Each week, you're going to have all the resources and readings that you need. I'm going to have an overview page, very similar that we had in like fundamentals last year or last term. The assignments for this class are all going to be due at 9 a.m. on our class days. So just know 9 a.m. on our class days is when things are going to be due for this class. How to be successful in the course. Look at the weekly overview page, and know what you need to have done before you come to class, what readings or videos we need to do. The next is come to class. We've got lots of content and activities, discussions, things in person that really are going to help mold and cement these concepts. And then do the weekly assignments. Those really help to build your knowledge and help just to practice. Really, practice is such a helpful thing. But what about if you need help? Whoop. I highlighted it more than I meant to. So you can always reach out to me. Like I said, every Monday, I'm going to be in class at 8 o'clock. Come and ask questions. You can also email at Bates email. You can do a Canvas messenger if you want. And then we have some other forums here. And so I'm going to just kind of click on next because it's going to go right to those. So these are a type of discussion board. I don't know if you guys have seen these before. They're not an assignment and it's not anything you have to do. It's more for your own information. So this one is a peer-to-peer open forum. So this is where you as students can communicate with each other, ask questions for each other, collaborate, whatever you want. This is not moderated by me. This is more for you guys to ask questions and have discussions with your peers. It's just a venue for that. The next discussion board, or this is the instructor help. And this is one that, you can also ask a question on here. So you could make a response or make a question. And then I try to get back to these within 24 hours. So whatever format you feel most comfortable contacting me, you've got a lot of different avenues. I'm going to go ahead and click on next because I believe this goes to your resources and calendar. I'm not going to go through all of these. If you have questions, please let me know. And then this goes right to our weekly overview. So if I pop out to modules, I'm just going to show you where we're at. So we went through all of our welcome module. I'm going to close that up. And here's our week 1. So and I put little descriptions like this one says, no in-person class this week because we have a holiday. So if we go to our weekly overview page, first, it's going to tell you what we're doing. So this week, we're preparing for week 2 next week, which is care of the diabetic. We're also going to begin our culture discussion board. This week's content relates to course student learning outcomes 1 and 5. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in a minute, but I just want you guys to know, just put a little pin in that one right there. All right, this week we have no in-person class. Readings, chapter 8 and 51 on your Timby MedSurg book located on CoursePoint. And I put links in here so you can just click on CoursePoint and that will take you right to where you can log into CoursePoint. I'd like you to watch the concepts in action, diabetes and hormonal control. And then you have these assignments and they're all listed here. They have the 9 o'clock due time, like we were talking about. Some of the assignments are going to be standard, like we're going to have some of the same type of assignments week to week, and then we'll have a few different ones peppered in. I'm going to move to the next because I just want to make sure you guys know I think most of you have already done this one about joining our CoursePoint MedSurg class. So high five to all you guys who have done that before. On the CoursePoint, I believe I'm already logged in. Yeah. So if you go to assignments, this should show you what assignments you have. Some of the things, like I said, week to week, we're going to have are like these pre-lecture quizzes. So for these pre-lecture quizzes, I'm going to go to, I'm going to skip over this one and go to the next. Sorry, guys. Boo, boo, boo. Okay, so here's the pre-lecture quiz for this week. And so this one, you can go right to CoursePoint, find the pre-lecture quiz for chapter 51. Sorry, guys. And this is how I recommend taking these quizzes. The first time, before you read the chapter, take it blind. Just see what you know, what you don't know. The next time, take it after you read the chapter and see what you remembered, what you didn't remember. And then you can keep taking it as needed for practice. Now on CoursePoint, if you go in to take these pre-lecture quizzes, there's an unlimited amount of times you can take these. You can take them as many times as you want. You can go back and take them again if you're like studying for the midterm or the final, unlimited. But what I want you to do is once you've taken them, take a screenshot of your highest result and submit it to this assignment. So there's a little confusion, I think, with a couple people early on. You don't have unlimited attempts on Canvas because I want you just to take it as many times as you want, on the course point, and then submit your highest score to Canvas one time. All right, so then I'm going to go back to the syllabus. All right, so this is the syllabus acknowledgement quiz. There's only 2 questions. You pretty much say you understand. I just want to make sure there's a couple things that you really, that I just want to make sure that you understand that they're important. So this is the course description, talks about what we're talking about. And this, so we're going to be learning about hematologic, immune-related disorders, neurological disorders, and these are course outcomes. So when our program was developed as a nursing program overall, we have program outcomes that we want you guys to be able to learn or be able to demonstrate things as at the end of the program. And so we have these big program outcomes, and then we have underneath that course outcomes. And so then under the course outcomes, those are things we want you guys to know to be able to complete that course. So for here, we want you guys to be able to identify and discuss these concepts of cellular regulation, immunity, caring intervention, comfort, culture. That's course outcome 1. Course outcome 2 is talking about assessment and delivery of care for acute pain related to immune system dysfunction. Same thing, number 3, assessment and delivery of care with fear and anxiety related to immune dysfunction. And again, risk of infection related to immune system dysfunction. Then course objective number 5 is discuss and identify differences in the multicultural society that is nursing, really, because we have a lot of cultural diversity. There's some core concepts and exemplars. These are just things we're going to be using as examples of what is, some hematologic dysfunction, right? So we've got things like anemia. So those are just examples of what we're going to be talking about. A couple of things. So if you want to look to see what our program outcomes are, this list right in the middle that goes way down, those are all the program outcomes. On the left, these are our course outcomes. I'm not going to go over all those. I'm going to get down to percentages. So the percentage of your final grade here. So just like last term, your support class is worth 5% of your total grade. So keep working with Amanda. There's going to be discussions, case studies, and ATI assignments randomly throughout the course. I think about every week there's one, maybe not quite every week. And those are worth 10% of your grade. Weekly assignments, things like the pre-lecture quizzes that we already reviewed. There's also going to be things like study guides and a few other things that every week you're pretty much going to have those type of assignments, and those are worth 25% of your grade. So huge portion, right? Doing that practice work leading up to our class time is going to be worth a lot of your assignment or of your class. In-class assignments are worth 20% of your grade. Now, if you can't make the in-class, right? Your missed class, does that mean you can't make those assignments up? No, you just have to follow our late policy and let me know before class starts, and then you can make up that work. We'll talk more about the late work policy in just a minute. Then both your midterm and your final are worth 20% of the grade. So going down to our late work policy, here we go. And this is a program policy. It's not my policy. It's not the class policy. It's the nursing program as a whole. If you submit an assignment late without notifying an instructor, it's a 0. That's just the way the program is designed. If you notify the instructor before the assignment is due, here it says 30 minutes. I don't get so particular. If you just let me know before it's due, then you have an extension on that assignment. You get a 10% deduction for work up to 48 hours. So essentially you have 2 extra days with a 10% deduction each day. So for example, if you can't make it to class and you did all your weekly work, but you're going to miss those in-class assignments that we do, let me know before class time, and then I'll give you those assignments that you can do at home, and you're just going to be deducted a percentage of that. I know it seems kind of harsh, but some of this is training you guys for nursing and working as a nurse. If you're working as a nurse and you are sick or something comes up, you have a flat tire or, something happens, you have to call your boss, right? And let them know, hey, I can't come in today, or I'm going to be late today. Those are standard practices that we want you guys to get used to having. Because you might be the best nurse in the world and you know all the things, but if you're showing up late routinely and you're not showing up to work, you're not going to keep a job. And we want you guys to keep a job because you're going to be wonderfully trained nurses. All right, I'm going to go out of this syllabus because those are the big things I wanted you guys to know. And I'm just going back to modules. So we'd already talked about PLQs, study guides. Those are something that I think are going to be important week to week. I do go through and kind of read these a little bit of what you turn in, but I don't go and dissect them. The study guide just gives you a bunch of questions and just says, hey, what about these? What are 3 classic symptoms of diabetes mellitus? And to go and look in your book, what are those? And then just turn those in. Like I said, I'm not going to count you off if you have an answer wrong. It's more about, I want to see that you guys are doing the work of going in and reading and trying to figure out, hey, what is this? What are these questions? Going back. One last thing. So here's one of the discussions that we have for this term, culture and healthcare. When I have these types of assignments, usually I'll let you know, what is the purpose? Why are we doing this? And then I'm going to let you know, what are your tasks? What do you have to do? So for this one, you have to read a chapter and then make a comment. And that's due by Monday, January 9th at 9:00. And then you have to go and reply to 3 other students' responses. And that's due by Friday, January 13th at 9 a.m. So know that even though this assignment says it's due January 13th at 9 a.m., that's when you are due to have your peer replies. So just make sure you're reading through when to know when your comment is due and when your comment to your peers is due. Read through these tips for success and grading criteria. I'm going to tell you, that's going to help you to be successful. Like I just said, make sure you know when your comment is due, when your peers are due. And then it also says, look at the grading rubric. You can do that by clicking the menu icon, which is a 3 vertical dots. So if we go up here, the 3 vertical dots right here. Now I can't see because my little face is in the way. And we hit show rubric. Now, you guys, I don't know if you're very familiar with looking at rubrics last term, but this says, the criteria, make a comment. You get 50 points for full marks. And this one, it also says you reply to 3 other students, and that's 50 points for full marks. But what is this down here? This is what's called your mastery level. So based on your response that you say, and then your peer reply, you'll get points, right? Maybe you knock it out of the park, you get 100 points. And then as an instructor, I'm also going to be grading you on your mastery level. And this is CO is for course outcome number 5. And remember, we looked at those course outcomes in our syllabus and discuss and identify differences in the multicultural society that's nursing, right? So that's one of the things we're trying to do. And so let's say you did a fantastic job, like you were just really close to nailing this whole multicultural thing. You might get 3 points for mastery, or you might get 2 points for developing. It just depends. You're still in your first, or you're in your second term of the program, so it's going to be real hard to get mastery right now. This right here is a program outcome, which talks about implementing the nursing process, and that anyway, so when you are graded on your mastery, it's going to say points, but those points don't affect your score, right? So let's say you get a 95%. And then down here, you get developing like 2 points on the mastery level. Well, those 4 points total, they don't count towards your score. You wouldn't get 99 points for 99 points for the assignment. It's just a mastery score. It just lets you know how you're doing when we talk about how well you're doing in mastering these course outcomes. So I know that's a little confusing. We'll talk more about it in class if you have questions, but I just want to make sure you understand that several of the assignments this term, you're going to see these rubrics that have these mastery levels on them. I wish it didn't say points. I wish it said level, but I didn't get to design it. Okay, that's it. I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys all next week on Monday, 8 a.m. for our in-class, in-person time. If you have questions, please reach out to me. There's all the different ways that we talked about. And that's it. All right. Thank you guys. And I really appreciate you guys. See ya.